I forgot to set up a queue for going live, but we're live.
Did you say we are live?
Yeah, we're live.
Are you going to introduce us?
I am. I'm just letting you know that we're starting recording. Because, I'm super professional like that. Hello, Hello, my name is Old Man Rod, and welcome to the... Oh my god, I forgot the name of my own podcast. That's a great start. Oh yeah, the Binary Connection Podcast. We live in a world full of interesting people, all connected through amazing technology, without which we wouldn't meet half the amazing people we all know. Have you ever wondered, what does that person do in their free time? I wonder if they have any hobbies I don't know about, and wonder how people keep themselves both connected and safe at the same time. This is the podcast for you. Join aspiring cybersecurity expert, the Old Man Rod, as he talks to people in very public spaces, Twitch streamers, cosplayers, game designers, and so much more to learn about who they are and how they keep themselves protected in such public-facing roles. I would like to, for our first episode, I would like to join a very special person very close to my heart. My voice actor certainly knows them very well, and I'm sure if you've seen me in your Twitch community, you might have heard about them. The legendary wifey.
Hello. I didn't know I was legendary, but cool.
Enough people know about you, more about you than they know about me, honestly.
Well, that's nice to know.
I do like to brag about you.
Aw, thanks, babe.
You're welcome. So,
you're a goober.
Yeah, I am. So I guess
I believe you have...
Sorry?
Nothing, go ahead.
So just to start off with, you're obviously not available. And
yeah, no. I'm definitely
and a very avid
unavailable, very attached.
Oh yeah. A very avid crafter and enjoyer of board games.
Absolutely. Currently, as anyone watching can see, sitting in my sewing room, so very, very big crafter, and I think between us we've got almost 300 board games at this point.
Yeah, and that's downsizing.
Yeah, we've got a lot.
Oh, yeah. The legendary library is pretty epic.
I quite enjoy it. We get a lot of gaming out of it.
We do. Helping run events for local community events. And also out of our own living room.
Yeah, well, our craft innings are out of our living room, but board gaming in our living room is more just with our friends at this point.
And you also do your own podcast, from what I understand.
Yes, so I like to podcast about board games. So myself and two of my friends who are part of the Melbourne Meeples community have a podcast called the Friendly Meeples Lounge, where we talk about board games that we've played or that are coming out and how they may affect people who are neurodiverse, in some way disabled, or just a little bit differently abled to the rest of the community. So we have a lot of fun doing that. It's definitely, it gives you a different perspective on board games when you're looking at it from the point of view of how does this actually affect other people and how playable is it for those people. So yeah, it's been really good. We're in season 3 now. It's insane.
That is insane. Feels like yesterday you just started.
I know. But yeah, 3 years in.
A lot of special guests, a lot of conversation about board games have been had.
Yeah, very much so. We've had some really, really fun special guests on the podcast. And I really like hearing other people's perspective on games. I've actually changed my mind quite significantly on some of the board games that I've played based on chatting with other people about them and things that I potentially missed.
Yeah, that's something that's very close to my heart. I like hearing other people's point of view in certain things. Just, as you get older, you get very set in your ways and you're like, I have made my opinion. I have my opinion about this thing and it cannot be changed. But, not everything's tailored done for you.
Pretty much. And I think I've definitely pushed you a few times to change your opinion on things.
Yes.
One of the interesting things about being married to someone with a law degree, hey, babe?
Oh, love that. It's not fair. You use both the law and my psychological warfare against me.
You love it.
I'm fighting on two different fronts that I wasn't even aware of.
You absolutely love it. It's so much fun.
Look, as much as it annoys the hell out of me, definitely brings up a lot of my blind spots. Because I oftentimes do get involved in the emotional side of things, and I forget the logical side of arguments. Very easy to get swept up in emotions and get swept up in your own biases.
I think it's a lot of fun chatting about the things that, we don't always consider, I guess. Like, I've always been, and you know this, I've always been really analytical. I like to really think about the things that are going on in the world. I like to really analyze when I see news headlines come up and, it'll say, oh, this amazing thing has happened. I really like to sort of dig into it and figure out, did that thing actually happen the way that they're saying, or is this really biased? Or I just generally don't take a lot at face value and really question it. And I think you're a little bit opposite. Like, I think you sort of take a lot of things at face value, and it's definitely caused some very interesting discussions.
I definitely have my moments of taking stuff at face value. Definitely comes from the engineering background, because you have to have a lot of faith in the science and engineering behind a lot of things. Because you're not going to sit there and do the math for every single little thing when people already figured out gravity is 9.81 meters per second. Done. We don't have to prove that every single time. And often that will leave you to a blind spot of, oh, people will always present to me correct and accurate data.
Oh, of course they will. Yes.
But that's why we always have 3 levels of oversight to make sure that doesn't happen. So oftentimes it's just about having a conversation with other people and just making sure you're not just falling into your little echo chamber of, I'm always right and this is always the way it's meant to be. And sometimes you're allowed to change your opinion.
Yeah, I think I probably change my opinion more freely than you do sometimes. But I think I also take a little bit longer to form my opinions, which makes my opinions probably a little bit more malleable.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I can definitely be more stubborn than you, not saying something.
Yes, it definitely is.
Well, but in regards to that, so we both like to interact with a lot of people and, organize and bits and such, and, build social circles. So let's step back from dating and to see how we got there, because we both met each other through board gaming.
Yes, we sure did.
Not for the single men in the public. You can pull the hot girl by just being a giant nerd.
Well, you can try.
Yeah. It's not, yeah. You don't have to give up your passions just to find a partner.
I don't think you should ever give up your passions to find a partner. That would be really sad.
Yeah. Sorry. It's hard to explain to some people, but there's some people who are like, oh, I'm still single. I'm like, I used to be one of those people who are like, I'll never find somebody. And then you came along.
Aww. You're sweet, babe.
Yes.
Someone would have snapped you up eventually if I hadn't.
Yeah, let's keep it that way. Um, but we met each other through board game events, and there was I believe there was a build up between being in board game events to organizing board game events. Can you tell us about how about the build up to that thing, because there is a line of progression that isn't very often talked about. So let's just start from when you're younger. Like, what got you into the nerdy hobbies?
I guess my first nerdy hobby probably was building an N-gauge railway with my grandpa. And that led me to then, I'm from a fairly big family, have lots of brothers who were all very much into Warhammer. So building an N-gauge railway was a lot of landscapes and painting little tiny trains and little tiny people to stand on all the train stations. Oh, sorry, one of our children is interrupting. Come here, small fry. So where it comes to that, I then found the hobby of Warhammer, which was all about painting loads of little models and creating landscapes, which I absolutely loved and adored. And when I was at high school, met a bunch of guys who were playing Magic the Gathering, and that looked like a lot more fun to me than just sitting around gossiping. So yeah, I spent a lot of time playing Magic the Gathering in high school, got introduced to LARPing, and then really combined my love of sewing. Like, I started sewing when I was about 5 years old with my mum. And as you can see, it's a hobby that I have most definitely kept up with. So I started evolving that nerdy hobby, then further into making costumes and that sort of thing for my LARPing. And I probably LARPed for, oh my God, from being 16 until I was in my 30s, like early 30s. And when I moved back to Melbourne in 2010, there wasn't a lot of LARPing going on anymore. So my partner at the time and I started collecting board games and playing board games at home with friends. And it was a little bit more at that point his hobby than my hobby. But there were definitely a few games and things that I tried at that point. A few people that I met within the board game community who were super, super lovely. And I sort of let it go aside for a little while and then fell back into some board game groups and fell back in with some of those board game friends around 2015. And from there, just started going to quite a few different places, started venturing further into more obscure board games. So not just your typical Monopoly and Uno and that sort of stuff, but started playing, I think, to be honest with you, I think one of the reasons Ticket to Ride is one of my favourite games is it's probably the first different board game that I ever played. And I absolutely love it to this day. I think it's such a good introductory game to show people that there can be a lot more to board games than just Monopoly, which has so many stupid versions. And I think it's almost in the real enthusiast community, Monopoly is almost a bit of a swear word at this point.
Monopoly is still popular
that's
nowadays. Although
gross.
It's been overtaken by Catan now.
Probably, yeah, I think so too. But that's sort of how I stumbled, the very long story of how I stumbled into board games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the board game thing because there's definitely one thing I want to mention now that I've become a bit older and wiser in regards to Warhammer. Like, how much more appeal that has to women than men nowadays. Because when I was growing up, Warhammer was perceived as a man's hobby. You only see the dudes playing it. But the reality is you're just playing dress up with little Barbies. And there's a lot of things that appeals to like a lot of females that I talk to. They love, they love the miniature paintings, they love creating the terrain, they love the deep lore of Warhammer, which would appeal to a female audience, which you don't hear about until much recently that you've got like the streamers and the YouTubers more willing to talk about that kind of stuff. Because it used to be very underground for women because you didn't see them as much in the game stores.
I definitely feel like it's become a lot more friendly for women in the last sort of five-ish years, because before that it was very much, oh, well, you can paint my models, but you don't need to play. So, yeah, there was a lot of that sort of pushed me out of the hobby fairly early on, was people sort of telling me that really I wasn't that serious about it. I was just there because my boyfriend was there. And that was pretty disheartening.
Ah.
Dude, not a bathroom.
And I remember one time I got a judge warning because I did complain that I was being a misogynist to his girlfriend when in fact he was spending 3/4 of our game turning around talking to his girlfriend instead of focusing on our game. I'm like,
Yeah, see, that's also pretty rude, though.
yeah, but I didn't speak up back then because I was a lot more stupid and meek. But I'm like, just you're just being an idiot.
I need to change my headset. This one keeps yelling, charge me.
All right.
Give me 1 sec.
1 sec. Let me talk about today's sponsor. Nobody.
I can still hear you.
I know. I'm just trying to fill up the empty space with ramblings, which oddly enough are not coming very easily today.
Annoyingly, I should have charged my headset earlier. Whoops.
That's fine. You're on Twitch. Scuff adds flavor to the stream.
There we go.
Because honestly, you can't do a live recording without something going wrong.
Okay. Is it actually working now?
Yeah, I can hear you
Okay.
on my end.
Awesome. Yeah, I can hear you too. All right. Sorry about that.
All right, we're back in business.
We are.
So, roughly, how long would you say that the nerd-dominated spaces have become more friendly towards the non-males? Because for the longest time, it was like video games and all that kind of stuff were seen as a male-dominated space.
Do you mean particularly with Warhammer or with other things as well, like with board games and card games and Magic the Gathering?
Yeah, just a general hobbies. Because not even 5 years ago, wouldn't it be rare to see like more than one woman at the game store? But now it's more common.
Yeah.
And it's almost always they're there because they have a partner to feel safe around. But nowadays you just have like just girls just walk up to stuff because they feel comfortable being by themselves, which doesn't sound like a lot now, but it is a big improvement for the last few years.
I definitely think probably post-COVID, things have become a lot more friendly, to be honest with you. I think even pre-COVID, everything was still a little bit more tense, and it was still sort of a little bit surprising to walk into like a game convention or a game store and see a lot of women around. I think just post-COVID is when I joined Melbourne Meeples and started being on the committee and actually organising events. So it's interesting to see, even from when I started initially on the committee, the ratio that we've had change up of predominantly men to now it's probably 50-50 men and women coming along to board game events. So yeah, I think it's definitely, I know one of the things you and I did a lot during COVID, particularly on Saturday nights, was we couldn't go anywhere. So we'd get online and get on Tabletop Arena and play board games because that's how we could socially keep connected to people. And I think a lot of people, it opened up a different hobby for them that they probably wouldn't have had before. And, like I took up making soap during COVID because we had the space, we had the time, we needed lots of soap. So
I'm surprised you didn't take up baking until recently.
well, I mean, I did bake before that. It's just that, you know, I wanted to get a nice bread maker. So
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it definitely feels like the post 2020 lockdowns was a big changer for social status quos.
absolutely.
Because, you know,
I think we were sort of getting there a little bit before that,
it,
where
def-
things were starting.
it definitely accelerated a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, not just, you know, work from home, but also what your social values are, who you're willing to interact with. And I guess just gave time for people to have a bit of an internal reflection of who they are and who they're willing to interact with.
Yeah, I definitely think that it opened the world up in a completely different way that none of us were really expecting. But I do think even before COVID, there was a lot more people just going and enjoying their nerd and letting it fly, because I think it very much also stems from the fact that our generation in particular grew up being shamed for being nerdy and liking computer games and that sort of stuff, because it was very new when we were growing up. You know, it wasn't like video game consoles were everywhere. They were very, very new. Playing computer games in general was very new. Like, I remember when my grandma got her first computer and I was playing Space Invaders with the space bar, and, you know, it was a little dot matrix on a screen.
Yeah.
So it did feel a little bit foreign for adults at that point to watch kids playing computer games and console games, and having a Sega Mega Drive was like so cool. But still at the same time, you were such a nerd if that was your major hobby. And now that we're all adults and going, well, you know what? No, this is normal. You know, this is what people do for fun, and it's fine to, you know, play sport and be a nerd. So I think our generation are really just destigmatizing it through age as well. You know, like growing up and going, no, we don't want to hide this in the closet anymore. Let us fly. Here's our nerd flag. Have fun with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've interacted with a lot of older people. The ongoing joke on Twitch is 20 some mid to late 20 somethings call themselves hags.
Really?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
That's part of the reason why I chose this moniker. Because every time I hear some 20 something be like, oh, I'm a hag. Oh, cool. Well, I'm older than Simpsons. Oh, you're old. I just age a little bit more that day. No, but
Oh, what does that say for me then?
you're young and beautiful.
And you're lying, because we both know that I'm older than you.
Yeah, but you're beautiful.
Thank you, my love. You're very handsome.
But it's both.
You're very rodness.
Yes, Sir Roddington. But it's both nice and like for me, it's a personal pet peeve just seeing a generation of people who didn't grow up with the same personality building challenges that the old boomers like to call it. But it's also nice that they don't have to go through the same tribulations. They can just enjoy Pokemon cards. They can just enjoy playing Magic the Gathering. They can just enjoy Warhammer. It can just be a thing of interest. It cannot be something that's socially isolating.
Do you know, I do feel like we had our challenges growing up.
Yeah.
But I'm very glad that I wasn't a teenager when social media was a thing.
Okay, see, that's the
Most definitely.
That's the new challenge. But
yeah,
in regards of, well, that's a whole different ballpark though. And we're still very early days to see how we can mitigate those challenges.
do you know, I don't ever think there's going to be a time that all the world's problems are solved and we live in a utopia. Every generation has their own new challenges and things that they're facing that, you know, we face the stigma that the nerdy things we love made us outcasts when we were younger. But younger generations now are facing all sorts of different challenges around, and obviously there were things like body dysmorphia when we were kids, and there's so many different social pressures that we didn't deal with as children and we are now dealing with as adults that I can't imagine dealing with that as a child or a teenager. And I think that's always going to be the way. There's always going to be the next challenge for the next generation to resolve, like
but
our parents were forever whinging about massive interest rates on their home loans because of Caucasian. And no, it's true. The interest rates were like 14%. But 14% on a $10,000 or on a $50,000 loan is still not that much, as opposed to 3% on $1 million home loan. It's a lot.
No, I get it from their context at that time period. It was a lot, but the fact that we're willing to ignore the current situation is what upsets me. Because
I don't think they're all ignoring it, but I do think that
the more vocal ones.
Like I just said, every generation is going to have their challenges, and we're very lucky to be in a position that we're old enough now to sort of be able to giggle about the challenges we had as teenagers and face the challenges that are coming up now as mature adults who can handle those situations with a lot more emotional maturity.
That's for sure. Yes, that's a very good conversation. So with I'm just trying to think of how I can link this back to the board game stuff.
I believe you had some questions for me about my hobbies as well.
Yeah. So now that we've gone down the rabbit hole of Warhammer into societal issues. Oh my god, we went down quite the rabbit holes. I forgot what we were talking about. So
we really did.
All right, so you were with your partner. You played board games, but it wasn't really an else hobby. Was his hobby kind of deal. I think that's what we were up to.
It was a lot more his. It was definitely at that point more his hobby than mine. At that point, my hobby was still a lot more crafts and sewing, and I did actually have for a while a bit of an addiction to online role playing. So yeah, I sunk a lot of time to online muds and mushes and crocheting at my computer and writing stories and that sort of thing. And I definitely stepped away from that quite a bit because it was not healthy for me to be sinking as much time as I was into that world. That's for sure.
Yeah, I guess I'll touch that board because I know I have addictive personality. So my one golden rule is the video game must have an ending.
That's a very good rule to have because I think that's kind of something I actually really enjoy about sewing is that there's an end goal and I can get there very quickly because I've been doing it for so long that I know how to get there very quickly. I'm literally sitting next to an unfinished project at the moment, which is about half an hour off being finished.
So you've always been object oriented, haven't you?
I'm very goal oriented.
Sorry, goal oriented. That's the word. Like you like setting yourself a goal and achieving it. So I guess this would naturally lead you. This naturally led you down the path of you did studying law and organizing events and such. So did you ever just make did it just happen naturally that you just got into those hobbies, or did you make the conscious decision to move into those fields? Because I feel.
No, go on. You feel?
Because I feel for event management, you definitely just naturally fell into those things because you just go, oh yeah, I like this thing. I'm going to contribute.
That was actually a massive accident. So obviously Rod's touched on something that I haven't really spoken about, but when I grew up in Adelaide, and when I was a teenager, I started face painting, and I was doing that for one of my friend's mums in her business. And when I was at a kid's party face painting one day, the mum asked me, of one of the other kids, hey, do you organise kids' birthday parties? And I just thought, you know what, here's an opportunity. And I said, yes, absolutely, I do. How can I help you? And it stemmed from that, where, you know, I ended up just organising this lady's kid's birthday party. And from that, two other parents booked me to do their kids' birthday parties, which then rolled into this event management company that I started when I was like 15. And it became very, very successful. And I loved it. You know, I realised I really like making people happy, making people smile. It's really joyful seeing other people having a good time at something you've organised. So, yeah, that's where that stemmed from. But I think a lot of the things in my life that I've sort of stumbled into and enjoyed, I really have just sort of been in the right place at the right time. Like sewing, I stumbled into because my mum was a really avid sewer. And I think I'm a lot more like my grandma than I am like my mum. And my grandma was an opera singer, so she taught me how to sing. You know, and I think I've just been very influenced by a lot the people around me and trying the things that they were interested in. Not letting, don't let yourself think from me saying that I'm just very easily led. I'm just willing to try a lot of different things, and I stick with the ones that I like and I get rid of the ones that I don't.
Yeah. I definitely went the opposite path to you did. Because my first adult experience doing social events was the uni anime club, and that is never a good experience for most people, especially in the early 2000s.
I can see why. I mean, it's probably what put me off anime, to be honest.
Like it's not so much the stigma part, it's just a bunch of young adults who don't quite know how to be an adult trying to adult, and there's a lot of internal power struggles.
I think it's really hard when you're dealing with, look, let's be really honest, a lot of the nerding community are people who are quite neurodiverse. And at the end of the day, someone just call me grandma. At the end of the day,
you're over 23. You're a grandma in Twitch. Let's not kid ourselves.
Excuse me.
Come on, you're a very gorgeous 24. Let's not kid ourselves.
Thank you, my love. Yeah, there's a lot of neurodiverse people within the nerdy communities. It's all right, Ellen. Don't worry. I am kind of a grandma. Yes. Well, unfortunately, that grandma is no longer with us, but that's okay.
Oh, the opera one. Yeah, she. From the stories I've been told, she was a very lovely human being, and I'm glad that she helped shape you into the person you are.
She definitely very much helped shape me into the person I am, and yeah, she is so. Oh, I miss her so much still. Like it seems insane to me that I've actually spent more of my life without her in it than I have with her in it, because she died when I was 16 and I'm now 42 or 41. God, let me not age myself even more. And yeah, it just doesn't seem real that she's been gone for that long. Like it's 25 years she's been gone. So it's crazy.
Yeah, my grandfather was definitely the stone of my life. He had his issues. He was definitely the black sheep of the family. But that's because now looking back, he had bipolar PTSD. Holy shit. Imagine living with that and being unmedicated, and your family just had no way of knowing how to deal with that. Like but even with all those troubles, they still find time to say a kind word to anybody. Like that's
I kind of get the feeling like unmedicated mental issues has been a thing for a really long time for a lot of people.
Yeah, so like even though we're with the crisis now, we're in the opposite that there's not enough medication to go around. I'd rather that be the problem than being under medicated. Because
Yeah,
we're addressing the issues. We're saying, hey, this is why this is happening, and this is how we address it. Because we both grew up in the hey, let's just stick our children full of Ritalin because they're not behaving, to they actually need it for these reasons, and here's a healthcare plan to help them cope. I'd rather. So I'm jealous of the current kids dealing with autism because talking to the psychiatrist who I was hopefully going to help me get medicated, she called 2000s Ritalin medieval drugs. I'm like, holy wow.
Oh my God.
Like, how much did they put in there?
Do you know, in some ways, I'm a little bit jealous of you in that at least your parents tried to get you some help.
Oh,
so for those listening, both Rod and I are neurodiverse. The difference is that Rod's diagnosed, and I'm technically not, except talking to a friend of mine one day who was a psychologist and said to her, you know, it's really funny, Rod thinks I have ADHD. And she said, oh, are you not diagnosed? Which was a little bit eye-opening for me. But
yeah,
going through the process of getting diagnosed is really crap. But at least you're on the track that you can get some medication for it, and I still need to be diagnosed. Like it's fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's the hardest.
Yay, neurodiversity.
The hardest part for me was not to tell you straight away that I was right all along. I get very few of those.
Rude.
Yeah.
I will admit about this one that you were right. You were indeed correct. I am neurodiverse. Are you happy?
A little bit.
You're a goober.
Rare recorded husband wins. So I feel like now that we're talking about neurodiversity and hobbies, do you think those hardships that you faced up growing in the in the late 80s, early 90s, of neurodiversity and all that stuff not being diagnosed or being undertreated, would have influenced the way you approach community events? Because I know, like,
I think
because we've both come from a place of compassion and we're trying to make it as approachable for the LGBT, the neurodiverse stuff. And I think it comes from a personal place of not wanting people to feel left out.
Yeah, very much so. I think I always felt like the weird person in the room. And I said to a psychologist one day, I feel like I'm standing in a crowded room full of people screaming and everyone's acting like it's pretty normal, that I'm just standing there screaming and ignoring me. And I had been saying for years, I feel so weird, like I'm odd. There's something different about me. I don't really understand other people and how they think. And really, I put it down only to the fact that I have a very good level of emotional intelligence and I'm a very quick learner, that I was able to pick up, and I'm very good at pretending to have good social skills. And having seen so many people around going through that same kind of suffering makes me very compassionate towards others who are coming into a social situation and wanting them to feel welcome. And like, it's okay to be your version of weird because we're all weird, and we definitely have some people that come to board in the West in particular who have their own disabilities and neurodiversities. I hate the word disability, have their own differently abled things going on, and I always want people, no matter where they're coming from, when they come to Board in the West or any other Melbourne Meeples events, to feel as welcome as possible and just be allowed to be themselves, because it's so crap to feel like the weird person in the room.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, just had to get rid of a bot.
I was going to say, is that a bot?
Yeah, it's a bot. Oh no, now they got me losing the train of thought. Sorry, what were you saying again?
I don't ever want anyone to feel like the weird person in the room.
No.
I want people always to feel comfortable.
I've always liked I've heard a few times on Twitch, we like people being freaky, just not being freaks. And I feel that's a good adage. Like, there's nothing wrong with being, letting your freak fly a little bit, being LGBT, being neurodiverse, really being into magic. But, it's still a social place, and social, a public place deserves public behavior. So you still have to be respectful of other people around you.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so many beautiful people that, I've met through gaming, that I met you through board gaming, and I'm so glad that I did, because you're pretty fun to have as a husband.
Yeah.
You know the crap out of me sometimes, but you are pretty fun to have as a husband.
Thanks, I think.
You're welcome, babe.
I'm not gonna bring up the fact you thought I was gay.
Come on.
On the month of Pride, nonetheless.
It's not my fault. You were very nice to me, and you didn't hit on me once.
I was just being a decent human being. I was there to play a board game.
You don't know how rare that is.
Clearly, I don't.
You do not know how incredibly rare it is for somebody who grew up around a bunch of neckbeards and being scared to wear corsetry at laughing events because I was, go Ellen, yeah. It sucks, right? Like being around neckbeards wearing a corset, just thinking, I look really cute. And they're all hitting on you, and it's like, I'm not interested in you. Go the hell away.
Well, that was the main reason. If I try to hit on someone, I know I'll get rejected. So I might as well go to the board game event to actually play board games. Anything extra is just gravy on top.
Babe, not everybody is that logical. So,
yeah, I am literally built different.
To be very transparent, it is Pride Month. I'm not actually straight. I'm probably more pansexual, I think, than bisexual, because I fall in love with people. And I don't care if you're male, female, trans, non-binary, whatever, however you identify. If you appeal to me as a person, I'm going to fall in love with you. Yeah. I'm also polyamorous, and Rod is not. So it's definitely created some very interesting conversations in our relationship.
Yeah, I definitely have a different approach to relationships than you do. But, we're still debating on the whole ace demi thing. I'm pretty sure demi's now just being put into the ace banner. Because, like autism, it's a spectrum.
Exactly.
And,
I feel that you're more demi than ace, but it's how you feel about yourself that matters, babe.
Like it helped. Knowing myself definitely helped a long way. Just being able to communicate with people, because it always felt weird that we have all this media, video games, movies, books, being like, oh, you always have to be an aggressive macho man to get the woman, and that's not 90% of the time. That's not the case. I'm sure there's a woman out there who like that stereotypical stuff, but there
are plenty.
But I'm sure not all of them want the macho aggressive man all the time. That's me assuming. So you do you.
I feel like in our relationship, I'm probably the more aggressive person between you and I.
You think?
Definitely.
You think?
Okay, shut up. I think you've very, very well summed us up and look, I've told this story a few times to people, but it's one of the things that makes me giggle about you so much. I do have a law degree and I did want to be a lawyer. And I realized very quickly after finishing my law degree that it was a bad plan. I should never be a lawyer. I'm way too soft. And I don't even remember what we were arguing about, but when we were arguing one day, and I said to you, do you not have any self-preservation? And you said, I married a redhead Leo. What do you think? Like, nobody has ever before come up with such a good comeback. And that made me fall in love with you like 20 million times over. Because I'm like, okay, you can have this argument. I will let you have this one because that was a really good comeback. But I am generally the more aggressive person in our relationship. Yeah. That's definitely true.
It definitely feels at times that you are the yin to my yang.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We definitely both approach the world in very different ways, that's for sure.
And it's not about just finding people who just align with you. It's just finding that balance, because you're not going to agree on everything. I often joke that you're a bit of a normie because you don't like anime. You don't have to like it. What? You don't like anime, which is... Well,
that is not true.
Yeah. Well, Ghibli...
I do like some anime. I don't like a lot of anime, but I do like some anime.
Yeah, okay. But you wouldn't be called an anime enjoyer. Fan? Yeah.
I'm just selective about the anime that I do like.
All right.
Give me Studio Ghibli any day. I'm so there. I loved Astro Boy growing up. I used to watch it every Saturday without fail. And yeah, like Danger Mouse, and I loved Sailor Moon and Powerpuff Girls. I don't know. I
definitely feel that growing up in Mexico in the 90s was a very interesting time, because we had a lot of anime, which at the time I realized was very controversial. So we had like we had the Sailor Moon, which didn't have the two cousin kissing.
Yes.
No, they just cut straight up called them lesbians in the Spanish version. Because in English dub they called them cousins and they started kissing and they're like, what the hell? That makes even less sense. Oh, they're actually lovers. Why didn't they just stick with that in the first place?
Yep.
Rama and a Half was an interesting one about a guy who turns into a woman when hot water touches him. So that I was introduced to that concept very early on, which you find interesting in a very conservative Catholic country, that they let that one fly on public TV.
I think every country is going to have things that happen on TV that are like, what the hell? I remember growing up watching Play School and thinking some of the things they were saying were very, very normal, and then watching it again as an adult and going, oh my god, there is so much innuendo in this.
Like the infamous catsuit?
Miss Rachel, put it in.
No,
if that's not there to make the parents laugh, what the hell is? Come on.
I always remember the infamous Play School scene where the guy was in a full body catsuit with a tail and just very seductively wiggling his butt at the screen. I'm like, how did that get past the censor?
Some of the stuff on Sesame Street as well, like, I'm telling you, seriously.
I didn't watch Sesame Street. I watched Sesame Street.
Oh, that's funny. And also, yay for you, Ellen. Yeah. I'm really glad that you feel safe now in the world as it is to be who you are and just feel like you. That's awesome.
For the audio listeners, we have a chatter on Twitch who's talking to us about their experience being a trans lesbian. So that's part of the reason why we both get so involved into community building because we want to enable those spaces that we didn't get as much growing up, right? Because
Absolutely. It's nice to have a space that you can build for other people to come out and just be safe in who they are and feel free to share who they are. I love it. I love learning about people. Like, I like to say that I'm a really introverted extrovert, but I really genuinely love people and meeting people and learning about their lives and who they are. It really interests me how people come to be who they are.
you definitely remind me of my favorite relative, my grandfather. He'd be the kind of person who just sit on a bus and the next second, he turns around to the person next to him and just starts talking to them about their entire life. Because they could. And I've seen you do that.
Why the hell not, right?
Yeah, that's the exact mindset. I'm like, how do you talk to random strangers like that and just learn their entire life story? I mean, I want to do it, but my social anxiety is telling me no, but my curiosity is telling me yes. Because I like hearing. You go on.
Go on. You were saying you like my.
I like hearing people's stories because everyone has a unique story. Like, sure, some of the beats are the same, but everyone's circumstances are unique enough to make it that it makes an interesting story.
I agree. I love learning about where people have come from because it can really colour who we are as people. That's actually something I love about the crafternoons that we have here is I feel like I learn something new about my friends every time we have a crafternoon. And that, I know one of the things we're wanting to talk about is how hobbies have influenced your social connections. And definitely, yeah, there's a lot of people that I've met because of my hobbies that I never would have met for other reasons, like people that I knew in the US and still know from the US that I met through LARPing, people that I've met through board gaming, people that I've met through sewing groups and all that sort of stuff. Like, I literally posted on Australian sewing advice in Facebook and met someone who lives around the corner. It's really amazing how all these social connections can happen based on the things that we're interested in. And because of all the technology that we have now, we can connect with people in so many different parts of the world just through things that interest us.
Yeah, definitely. If you told me 20 years ago all the avenues you'd have to meeting new people, my mind would explode. Because the internet was still a fairly new thing even then, and we barely had, like 2006, that would be, 3-minute YouTube.
Yeah, basically.
And we barely had, forums was on the way out, but even then, it was still limited. World of Warcraft was a thing, but it was still in the very early days of, I met my partner through playing World of Warcraft. So those stories were still pretty rare back in those days. But now we got like every single live stream service available known to man. TikTok, Rednote, I think is the other one, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, yada yada yada. Mobile phones, which is still an insane concept to say out loud. What's that thing from Star Trek? The tricorder?
Live long and prosper?
No, the tricorder.
Oh, you mean that was the inspiration for mobile phones?
Yes.
Yeah, tricorder.
Like having your own personal tricorder.
No, communicator.
Communicator.
A tricorder is the medical device that scans things.
Oh, I mean, it's not too far away from that stage. But yeah, but just the amount of stuff and how accessible that technology would be. Because we had the computer room and we had the shrine to the family computer.
Yeah.
Now we have...
I remember... Like I was saying before, I remember when my grandma got her first computer and there was a whole room dedicated to it. It was this massive box in the corner of the room. And now, like, literally, you can carry your computer in your backpack.
I remember my grandma making like little cozies for the computer to keep it protected from the
That's
dust.
hilarious. I actually need to make some protectors for my sewing machines because they're getting really dusty just sitting out all the time.
For those who can't see, because I cropped the image, she's got 3 different machines in the background. 2 sewers and 1 overlocker.
No, it's sewing machine, overlocker, cover stitch.
For those of you who do crafting, you probably had a little bit of a moment there.
This is only one of the 2 craft rooms.
Well, yeah, I guess we went in some good little tangents about why we do the things we do. It's all about community. It's about affording a safe public space for people to enjoy their hobbies. For us, it happens to, for you specifically, it's crafting. For us, it's board games and stuff. Yeah, let's just take a quick little break. You know, stand up, stretch your legs, do all that good stuff. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
No worries.
We just hit the 1 hour mark, so I feel like we've definitely had some good discussions about community building and how we build interpersonal connections.
Absolutely. And look, children.
Oh, that's the biggest for a child.
Yeah. And the whingy small fur child.
Well, the small whingy is off screen, but I can see him on camera. For those who can't see, he's giving the look of,
He just yawned so big.
Yeah, he's a big yawny boy. All right, so we'd like to ask a few questions just at the end of the podcast, just to get to know the guest a little better. So first question first, very controversial. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Yeah, we're in Australia. It is the number 1 flavor of pizza in Australia, so nothing too surprising there. Now, do you have any song recommendations?
Just one? Oh my god, now I have to remember the names of songs.
That's always the hardest part for me, because I never remember any song by name.
On the spot, Jesus. The Reason Why, John Farnham. I feel like it's one of his most underrated songs. It was written by Richard Marx, but it's just beautiful. And I really, really, really wanted to sing it at our wedding. And I'm really bummed that I lost my voice on the day.
Oh no! Oh, that's right. Well,
Yeah.
For me, it's Pink Pony Club, because it's goddamn everywhere.
I don't understand the context of that song. All I hear every now and then is Pink Pony Club.
I'm gonna keep dancing at the Pink Pony Club. Either she's a pole dancer or she's going to a nightclub. I don't know. I just like the vibe.
Yay, go Penny. I also like pineapple on pizza is the best. So yeah. I agree.
Look, I'm not the best judge of character for that, because as the wifey knows, I've said several times, hey, I love this love song. Babe, it's a breakup song. Oh.
Often. It's so funny.
I'm just like, I'm a hopeless romantic. I always think they're like, oh, man, I could have. Then I'm like, oh, actually, they were talking about why they lost their love, not that there's stuff they could have been improving on it. But I guess they go hand in hand, honestly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Recommend us a movie.
Pretty much.
Recommend us a movie.
Ever After. That one's easy.
Ooh, Ever After. Well, I have to go the one you finally showed me, since I was quoted religiously. The Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride?
Yep. I can't believe I know all the memes before I saw the actual movie. and I could quote the entire movie.
Oh, that was so funny. Without seeing the movie, you're a goober.
It's inconceivable.
It is inconceivable.
So what's your favorite Pokemon?
I'm not going to pick one. I'm going to pick two. I really like Rapidash because I grew up on a horse farm and I would be an absolute traitor if I didn't love Rapidash. And Milk Tank because cows are amazing.
Good old farm girl. Are the cats fighting?
The children are fighting. Yes, they are. Wait, stop it.
Mine is Holucha
Stop.
because it's a Mexican luchador. What's more to like?
I do like that one as well. It's pretty cute.
What's something? Tell us something you're looking forward to in the near future.
Something I'm looking forward to in the near future: buying a house.
Okay.
And winning the lottery.
I was gonna say to a recent Sonic movie marathon.
What movie? Hang on, are we doing a movie marathon?
No, I'm doing it over Discord with some other community.
Oh.
Did you want to watch the recent Sonic movies?
Are you invited?
Did you want to watch the recent
movies?
Sonic? Well, I think we're up to Sonic 2.
Oh. Yeah, nah, you're good. You can watch that without me. Oh, Piplup is cute as well.
Oh, the 1,000-yard stare of Piplup. Ugh, that's hilarious.
I love Piplup.
I guess the last thing would be, I know it's a bit of a tough question, but the way this podcast works is one week we have a guest on. We'd like to just talk about their special interests and how it helps build personal connections. And the other half is me going on my cybersecurity journey on how to teach it, because I find that cybersecurity education is very lacking nowadays. And it's very important more than ever because everything is interconnected to the internet nowadays. I remember when it used to be just a place where you go, I'm going to go to this forum. I'm going to go play this video game. Not, I have to do all my taxes, invoices, yada, 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 all the time.
I feel like I'm probably your worst nightmare when it comes to cybersecurity, mainly because, yeah.
Look,
I'm the worst.
You're yes and no. I've seen worse.
What do you think? What do you think when it comes to cybersecurity? What's the most surprising thing that you've learned so far that you were just like, holy crap, I never would have thought of that?
Oh, just like, I feel the one thing that I've definitely noticed recently is just I actually need to think about this for a second. Editor, put in some thinking music.
It's all right. The cats are having a staring competition in the background. Who needs Pokemon when you have cats?
I mean, they're basically Meowths.
Basically.
They just need to learn.
Although I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure this one doesn't have enough brain cells to be a Meowth.
He's more of a Persian.
Little bit.
Oh,
he's very Garfield. He really is. He
even tries to eat lasagna every now and then.
He does. The big dude in the background there, he's half Maine Coon, and if he had 3 brain cells to rub together, it would be very dangerous. I love him, but he's just not the smartest boat in the shed by any means. He's very pretty. He's very loving.
I definitely.
But his nickname is Furbio for a reason.
For those of you too young to know what a Fabio is. Actually, how do you explain Fabio?
Male model from the 1990s and early 2000s that was on the front of all the romance novels. Blonde, luscious hair. Yeah.
Who allegedly died by seagull?
He didn't die. He broke his nose. Oh my God. Dramatic much?
I don't know. I remember something about someone standing up on a roller coaster and dying from a seagull hitting his head.
Yeah, he didn't die. Come here, baby.
Okay. I don't know. I don't keep up with celebrity gossip. But going back to the
Just for context, by the way, Ellen, I'm 5'2", so the giant cat that I was holding before was sitting on my leg with his head up here. So yeah, he's a big boy.
Michael Jackson broke his nose. Yeah, but he also had like how
Many
many?
people have broken their nose.
But how many? But the question is, how many reconstruction surgeries did he have?
Many, because
Many.
the first one wasn't successful.
Oh, that was. I'm just gonna say this quickly. I'm still surprised by my grandma who didn't let my mom listen to Michael Jackson because he was black.
No, we're not going there.
I'm not going there, but
we're
I'm like,
not going there.
I only knew late 90s Michael Jackson, so that was weird to me. Anyway, so the one thing, so going back to the original conversation of cybersecurity, I think the most surprising thing for me is the lack of discipline around cybersecurity, because we're so used to hearing stuff about don't drink and drive, close the door behind you, don't leave your windows open, don't take photos of your secured credit cards and all that kind of stuff. But in regards to like online safety, we just kind of go, the kids will know what to do. And like everything else in life, it's all about discipline. Like
I think growing up, the internet was so new, none of us even thought about cybersecurity or how it could be used against us. And it's still very much a field that is being explored and figured out. And it's kind of terrifying in some ways. And in other ways, it's just like, well, yeah, it makes sense. Like every time some new technology comes about, we have to find a way to secure it in a way that we never thought of that it could be exploited.
Yeah, but like the more I'm studying the new cyber attacks and stuff, the more it just sounds like old scams. Because the method's still the same. Like all the Bitcoin scams, they were done in early Rome times because it's just basically you're gonna dangle up some valuable over someone's eyes. They're gonna lose track of it, and then you just pickpocket them. The only thing that's updated is the method.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
the methods are constantly being updated for scamming people. That's for sure.
The methods, the technology is the methods are fundamentally the same. Because most of it is still just, I'm gonna promise you something, you're gonna take the bait, and then I either take your info or your money. So making sure you keep your information secret, not, like we still want to connect with people, but making sure like the levels of personal info we give out there isn't too much. Because people are still surprised when I tell them, if you don't want people to find out where you live, don't take photos of your windows.
I mean, you can't tell from this window where we live.
But like
there's no identifying markers in that window of where we live.
There's a YouTuber who's the world's best geoguesser.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch his videos, you will find out the level of how much discovery they can do just from one photo. So, but like if it was daytime, they could try and figure out like where.
You can't even see the window though, babe. Like it's not even in the video.
I know, but like if you had something like you could triangulate like from the height of the sun, yada yada yada. Also the standards of buildings, you could tell which country that window's from based on the windowsill. There's so much info you can find just from a window that you wouldn't think about. But that's why I don't like.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Did you see Ellen's comment? A bad guy I knew had his Discord account lost to crypto scam, which is funny because he is a scammer himself. That's called karma.
That's the thing though, like the scams have become more accessible to people because, back in the 90s, the people who had some idea what we're doing had to have some level of computer literacy. But now that the computers and internet has become so widely available, the methods are much more easily accessible. So that's why when we
You
say,
know, I find it really funny that I used to work in banking fraud but know so little about cybersecurity.
that's because there's a lot of aspects to cybersecurity. What I know may look very focused to you, but it's a drop in the bucket of water because there's so many aspects to it. Which is why I'm willing to admit I am not an expert. I am just on a journey of cybersecurity because I'm still doing research, I'm still learning stuff. But even the experts, they're very specialized, like IT. They have one field of knowledge in a very wide field. Because without boring the non-techs, there are 7 layers to internet. Within those 7 layers, it's about 21 layers of internet activity. And within that, there's about 8,000 ports. And you annually really interact with like about 20 of those. And you only become an expert about 5 at max. So just think about how much wizardry has gone just for everyday internet interactions that you don't know about. Yeah. Well, I guess if any of the audience has any questions they'd like to have answered about cybersecurity, I could definitely make that the main topic of next week's conversations. Otherwise, I'll come up with something.
Education is so behind. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Schools think
About the internet, AI. There's I 100% agree with that one, Ellen. We've got a lot of catching up to do when it comes with educating. I think one of the biggest problems we have with education is that the people who are educating kids are having to learn themselves first and figure out themselves first what the hell is going on, because we didn't grow up with it either.
It's definitely a problem of who educates the educators.
Yeah.
Because we've got a mutual friend who works as an IT expert for a school, and the nightmare stories he has told us in under confidentiality makes me want to bomb it.
Yeah.
But it's, look, I don't blame the schools for using the ban as their one and only tool, because that's the only tool they can reliably use. Because banning disabling ChatGPT on a school environment is next to impossible when the kids will find a way. I ran a World of Warcraft server of my high school intranet. And
Really?
Yeah. Long story short, there was a port open that you could, so they only certain ports were open for video games back then. So if I just changed the routing to a different port, I could basically say, hey, instead of going through the usual methods which are blocked, make the server run through this port, and off we go. Guess who was the favorite of the IT department?
Not you, for sure.
Oh yeah, this is why I had to become an art kid. Because I spent all of IT class playing Counter-Strike and other mobile multiplayer games which bypass all the firewalls. In my defense, they weren't doing a very good job. But when there's a will, there's a way. So it's not about stopping them, but it's definitely educating, and education's a big one to help prevent it. So I feel like that's definitely something we talk about, the education around stuff. Because prevention, what was it?
Prevention is better than the cure.
Yeah, because you can't fully negate people's access to it, but if you educate them on stuff better, which is what I want to do with the podcast, just have short videos you can show to your grandparents and be like, hey, here's why you need a freaking password wallet. Maybe I should make that the first one.
Hey, babe, it might be a good idea as well just to make sure people know how to access the chat, because I didn't until a little while ago.
Oh, that's...
So...
What do you mean? You go to channel, there's a little chat feed on the right.
Yeah, but I accidentally collapsed it and did not know how to reopen it. It took me a little while to figure out how to reopen it.
Oh.
So...
Not
everybody's as tech savvy as you.
Yeah, I forget that. I often say it out loud too. My, what was that thing I would say? Your, oh yeah, your worst is somebody else's best.
Yep,
And I think I'm not that good.
absolutely.
I think I'm not the worst. I'm the worst at IT stuff because I've hanging around a lot of IT and cybersecurity experts. But to the average person, I seem like a god. Like I seem like a godlike figure. But yeah, oh yeah. When I was in school, my classmates got Halo 1 multiplayer files so you could play when the teachers deleted it, so we could re-download from the internet. Classic. That's what we
Love
did.
it.
That's what we did with Counter Strike. Because there was a way you could get it set up on your computer without installing any files. So we just kept changing the names of the files and redistributing it over the internet.
I only played Halo a few times, but I used to love watching Red versus Blue because it was just so damn funny. And I don't believe after 20 something seasons it's still going.
It's finished.
No, I'm pretty sure they brought it back.
No, the company got sold. The company got sold out, and then they bought it back from Warner Brothers.
Well, I wish it was still going. It was fun.
It was fun. I miss it with Monty almost still alive. If you,
Well, I guess we should also throw it out to the people watching. If you do have any questions about anything, please certainly ask us because, we would love to answer your questions.
yeah, I definitely.
Maybe tell us a little about your hobbies and how you got into them.
Maybe I should open up the. Well, we have the old man rod at business@gmail.com for if you have any cybersecurity related questions you'd like to have answered. We'll definitely look into it for you. But Ruby's still going. What the hell?
How is Ruby still going?
Well, it got bought by Warner Brothers.
Okay.
But I'm just wow, that's old. Almost as old as I am. Not really. I'm way older than Ruby. But
Yeah, I was going to say.
but I guess we had a good session. We can wrap it up.
Yeah, if no one's got any other questions, we will wrap it up from there. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
I will
Massive shout out to Ellen for your interactions. You've been awesome.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your experiences, Helen.